Welcome to Lights in the Night with your host, Russ Johnson. Uncover the truth about alien contact and hear from insiders who reveal the evidence. Stay tuned.
Well, welcome again. Thank you for tuning in to Lights in the Night. Once again, we are talking about UFOs, UAPs, the whole 9 yards. Except there's another element that we haven't discussed up until this time. There's a real deep, dark side to all of this. And I like to leave it alone, but Pam Jenkins, who's with us today, she knows all about it, and I guess she wants to bring it up and talk about if you do run into some Draco dark side of this industry, then she can help you get over it. Pam, thank you very much for being with us once again. You were with us a couple weeks ago. So what have you been...
Thanks for having me back, Russ.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Let's talk about briefly the dark side. I don't want to get too deep in this because it's really deep. But can you bring some of it up so people can be aware of what's coming down the pike? Pam?
Russ, it all depends on where your focus is and what your belief system is. Okay. We have a lot of things that are going on, and this is a leveling thing.
I know.
There are dark entities.
But there is the benevolent and the benevolent. Both the benevolent is strong and the benevolent is strong. And may I say, when you look at the history of all the research of UFO, UAPs and the Skinwalker Ranch and doing the paranormal, it's a lot of stuff out there. Some of it is challenging. May I say that? Is that a good word?
Challenging is probably mild.
Okay.
And Russ, as we've talked, I've told you, I have the memories of coming in and out of these timelines and doing this work.
Right.
And for me, this particular lifetime is an integration lifetime.
It's stressful, yeah.
It can be stressful, but I hate to use the word level again, but the place that I am with the integration of the lessons and knowing people are facing, I can tap into people's what they call Akashic records.
Okay.
And help them see what's going on. Okay. For all intents and purposes, what we are engaged in at this point is a frequency war. It's a spiritual war. It is a frequency war.
Okay.
And, the earth herself is ascending and moving up in the spiral staircase, if you will. Okay. And if you think about the fact that this is duality, okay, Earth 3D is duality, which means there's polar opposites. There's good versus evil, okay? And this particular timeline is a merging timeline, which is bringing everybody's belief systems and experiences back in together, okay? And so that's where you get all this stuff. Is it demonic? Is it alien? Is it this? Is it that? It's all of those things.
It's
and
all of the above.
Depending on where we put our focus, that is what you're going to experience.
All right. How do you ward off the dark side, if you will? How do you escape that? Just stay positive? Like there's...
No, it's not just a matter of thinking positive. I wish that worked, okay? And ignoring that there is a dark is going to get you in just as much trouble as, focusing on it too heartily. Does that make sense?
So you say that's slightly disingenuous if you ignore the dark side, that the possibility of that,
it's
right?
Not disingenuous. It's not disingenuous. It's
dangerous
harmful to your spiritual health.
Okay.
I can tell you, I came from a time, and I guess coming in for what I was going to do this time, I kept saying, there's no such thing as demons. I needed to be in that mindset.
Did you say that?
I had to be in that mindset to be able to accomplish what I accomplished so that I could get through what I needed to get through to be at this point, to be able to, not only move up myself, but to try and help other people that are coming along behind me that are going through things that I've already experienced.
But
And experienced it not once, but what I've told you last time, thousands of times. I
why
carry
so many
the memories
times?
of those experiences
My question to you, Pam, is why so many times?
because what we've been doing, Russ, what we have been doing is what I call looping, going around in a circle. Okay. And in that looping, you move through these loops with different people. Okay. You have what I call a soul tribe. And your soul tribe is your family, your inner circle. Then it expands out to the outer circle and it just gets bigger and bigger, and you meet people all along the way. You
Hmm.
and I only recently met within the last month,
Absolutely, just
but
about a month ago.
we have a soul connection that
Hmm.
has put us in a position of working together because we're part of the mission that's here to help people that haven't come to this place yet in their learning of how to get out of the looping. Okay?
Uh, Okay.
Looping is just going around in a circle doing the same thing over and over again and not remembering that what's going on. And then you can start moving through that infinity sign, the figure eight, but you're
Hmm.
still going back and forth
Hmm.
until you get yourself in alignment where you step out of the duality part of it.
Okay.
When you step out of duality and you, not out of it, but back from it, you have to first take a step back and start observing. And when you start observing good versus evil, they're constantly giving you choices.
Hmm.
Neither one of them are always perfect or great,
Hmm.
but they're always choices, right?
Hmm.
As we go through these lessons, I call them lessons, initiations, quizzes, tests, whatever you want to view them as. The initiations as you grow can become more intense.
Okay.
And it's a good idea. I remember being with a council, Russ,
You,
that
you remember what?
with that with a council,
Oh, I see.
before I came back in this time and
Right.
joined up with this part of myself because we're all fragmented.
Right.
Okay. Our souls, what is housed in this particular body, meat suit, is only a piece of our entire being.
Well, since
But
since you can see yourself a shaman, do you intuitive, a psychic, or what should I call you? What titles do we use for you?
I am at this point a shaman, okay, and that's partially because of the
Right.
many times I have come in here
Right.
and because I can walk between the worlds
Okay.
and
Good.
I can communicate.
Then a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people are going to need your help. For like people like me, I don't remember being here before, but so how can you help them? How can you help people? Should
I can
anyone can
help
call
people
you,
get to,
contact you? How can they?
oh, you wanted contact information. Yes, my
Right,
contact
right,
information is
right.
heavencallingearth@gmail.com.
Hmm.
My website is heavencallingearth.com.
Hmm.
And my phone number is 914-620-5776.
So, in the Bible, Ephesians 6:12 addresses that issue. Could you explain Ephesians 6:12? It's not about good and bad. It's about principalities. Could you explain that for us?
Eh, I did not get a chance to read that
Okay.
section of the Bible.
Okay.
I want to read that and go over that, and maybe what I can do is post something in the comments section about it. Um,
Well,
we've had some very intense energies coming in, and I've been doing a lot of grounding and centering work to get to this place because, as as recently as last month, I was dealing with dark energy, we'll call it. Okay.
so for the people who are dealing with dark energy on a regular basis, daily, how do you help them?
Well, first you have to get to the place where you recognize exactly what's going on. Okay. And I assess them. I've gone into houses where there were what people would call paranormal activity. They think it's haunted, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And basically, what that is spirit beings that are disincarnate. They no longer have a body. Those disincarnates have the ability, if they are stuck in the earth plane long enough, to become angry, disoriented. They need to move into the light, to move up so that they can resolve their issues. Okay? That's the type of paranormal activity that, gets a lot of attention.
We had
You go in and assess it, and then, you have to see if is the energy attached to the land, the house, or the people in it? And there are varying things there. Which is it? You know what I'm saying? That you have to look at that and see why that energy is there.
well,
Okay.
we're dealing with a lot of conflict these days, rather than cooperation and consensus. Conflict and chaos. We right now between the Democratic Republican Party, whatever, good and bad. I like you, I don't like you. How do you deal with that on a day-by-day basis? We need some help.
Yes, we do. And, the help we need, number one, is to get out of things that, if you look at politics, okay, you are looking at a divide and conquer system. And that's what it was designed for, and that's what it's doing to people. Each side thinks the other side is going to fix it or save us. And the truth of the matter is, neither side is going to fix it, and neither side is going to save anybody. They toss the ball back and forth every 4 to 8 years.
Right.
Now, the chaos that's going on right now, currently, is amplified, okay, to bring out everybody's issues that they have been, what I call, stuffing down, okay? All of their pain, all of their anger, all of their anguish. And one of the things that is bringing this stuff up to the surface and amplifying it is the 5G signals.
Is that right?
I can go out in public, and when I go out in public, I intentionally wear things that will help to mitigate the impact, because I am a wide open empath. Okay? And with being that, I can feel people's physical pain. I can feel their emotions. And that can be painful if you are not doing things to protect yourself. So I'm very conscious and aware when I go into places that have 5G that are blasting constantly.
So,
My husband and I live out in a rural area in Virginia, which you're familiar with.
yeah, of course.
We're in the middle of 3.5 acres, and the closest tower to us is 1.5 miles away, which is, we get limited 5G signals in here, unless they are doing it through the Wi-Fi modems and, the televisions and stuff. And again, we're doing things at our home to mitigate that, because I'm extremely sensitive to it.
Okay. There are other people who are also like you, sensitive to it. And
Everybody's sensitive to it, Russ. Everybody doesn't know it's affecting them. It is affecting them at great levels. It is affecting people's brain waves. It is affecting their pain levels. And, I want you to go out into an area that's got 5G that's broadcasting. And I know you're living in an area where that's possible. Watch how many people are walking hunched over, like they've got back problems, or they're dragging a leg. People are having different health issues. Are
of
you
course.
aware of the fact that the U.S. government has patents on the neurological system of the body to know what frequencies to broadcast to cause this medical problem or that medical problem?
So, listen, I'd like to do some solutions on the program, if I could. Just what solutions could you bring to people who are going through the pain and anguish of
For people on,
what? Can you hear me, Pam? Did I lose her?
It's
Can you hear me, Pam?
yes, I can now.
Right. Okay. What simple solutions can you offer people who may be going
First, you
through?
have to.
I'm sorry. I think we
Are
got
they going through physical pain or emotional pain?
both.
Like,
Both. Let's say physical first. Let's start physical first. You know, ba-
and what I need to do, or somebody like me needs to do with that person, they're going through physical pain. We need to sit and discuss their family history, also to include their medical history. Why is that? Because
mhm,
every single physical problem that people have, whether it's cancer, whether it's gallbladder, whether it's hip problems, back problems, knee problems. Don't care what the physical issue is, there is an emotional connection to it.
I
And
see.
if they do not address the emotional issue, they're only going to mask the physical. You
I
have
see.
to address them together.
Okay. So when people have physical pain, back, whatever, knees, whatever, then they go to the doctor. That doesn't really solve the problem because that person normally is not talking about the extenuating circumstances which are causing the pain. Not it can't go to the basis of it, so they give them a pill, a bandage for it. What can they do besides that? Call you or call somebody
Yes,
like you?
that's exactly correct. You have to start working on what we call your inner work,
Hmm.
your shadow work, your, this is why people need to have someone to go to that can access their Akashic records. Uh, You know, I've moved from a place of proving that I can connect with people because I have gone and connected with people and made emotional connections with them and then absorbed their pain. I don't
Hmm.
want to do it that way anymore.
Hmm.
I want to have people that are willing to interact and talk to me about their issues so that we can get to the core of them and they can start releasing their pain.
Hmm. Hmm. When I
It
met you,
has to come up and out.
I met you with Dr. Love here in Boca Raton, Florida.
Yes, sir.
How is he helping you, or helping others?
Um, Dr. Love helped me release something that had become very attached and powerful to me. And we did several modalities. He put me on a vibroacoustical bed, um, and we did some releases with that.
Hmm.
And then he did some acupuncture with me.
Hmm.
I did some Tai Chi or Chi. I can't pronounce it. He
Right.
leads a class in
Hmm.
movement, and I attended that class with him. And then I also, he took me around and um, I did what do you call that? The infrared sauna and
Hmm.
the cold plunge.
Hmm.
And that gave me some much needed relief. And I had to follow up with that when I got back to Virginia
Okay.
after.
Did you? They had a med bed there, not a semblance of the med bed. I'm not talking about the one that Sky Prince, SKYE Prince talks about. That's coming down soon. But they did have a med bed there. Did you see that? Did you use it?
I did not.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now, are you talking about with Dr. Love?
And there was somebody else there with a med bed. I think it cost.
Oh,
It,
no, I did not see that.
okay, right. Okay, all right. Do you know much about that?
I know that they have talked about the med beds coming. I know that there are modalities that we are using in the meantime to help people. There are those of us, I can manipulate energy. My
Oh, you
husband has
can.
had back and hip problems, and I have the ability to literally feel the energy of people. I can feel when it's blocked, and I can get that energy moving. but it helps me a lot, just like, with Dr. Love, to have these additional modalities that we can speed up people's healing. Okay. And I have, because I wanted to open a wellness center, a healing center here in Virginia. I have been checking out the different modalities and what works and what doesn't. And, these, I would love to see a med bed, but I haven't had that benefit yet. I've had the benefit of seeing hyperbaric chambers, um, the skull lamp, and the vibroacoustic beds, the infrared saunas, and the um, cold plunges. These are all modalities that can enhance and speed up our healing. Okay, and there are no drugs or medications involved in that. But they're also not modalities that are covered by anybody's health insurance,
So you can read
which
the
is another reason that people fight healing.
Okay. All right. It's a lot of discussion along these avenues. So you can read the Akashic records, if you're saying, of individuals. So that helps in terms of pinpointing the difficulty that person may have by you being able to read those records.
It does, because I can see their birth and death cycles. And in seeing those birth and death cycles, we can help them with why they keep coming back to the third dimension, why they keep reincarnating to solve whatever it is that they have guilt, regret, or anger about. Because those are the three things that keep you cycling in until you get to the point where you've decided, all right, now I'm going to volunteer to go in and help other people
Okay.
get past their issues.
So, as I talked to you before, you think that you've been here 100 times.
More than 100 times, Russ.
Okay. 600 times, 1,000 times. You said at one point you said 1,000. Why would you come back, keep on and on and on? I don't understand. I'm really trying to get a picture of that. Why come back so many times?
Russ, initially it's not a choice. Okay.
Huh?
Once we agreed to come here and incarnate and go through the veil of amnesia, it's kind of like, let's talk about a contract that we sign, terms and conditions, right?
Okay.
Most people don't read that fine print.
No,
Okay.
of course not.
And fine print for us, we kind of forgot. And so now we're having a harder time realigning and getting out of why are we coming back here and creating more and more pain. I remember my discussions with the council
You
that
do?
I work with. I
How-
do.
All
Where
right,
I
well,
said, you keep sending people back, but you're not giving them the memory. How can they fix things if you don't let them remember what they've done wrong to begin with? Okay. The response I got on that is, we hear you. So that some people are starting to remember. And that's why there are those of us at varying levels that are here to try and help people get through that.
for those people who do remember, then they can move on, say from the third dimension to the fourth or the fifth.
The lower fourth is where all of this is observed and watched over in the way that I understand it. Okay. By the time you get to the higher fourth and the lower fifth, you're in a different position, feeling things different. And it's not that it is a different place. Okay. My experience has not been that it is a different place, it is a different frequency. You see more things, you experience more things, you're conscious of what you're doing. Okay. It's like every situation that people have here, they've
Okay.
played a part in creating it.
All right. I'm going to call a couple of names. How about Sylvia Brown? Where do you think she ended up this time when she left? Is she coming back or is she moving on?
No,
You
she's
know her?
coming back.
She's coming back.
I believe she's coming back.
Uh-huh.
Probably already come back. has probably already come back.
Uh-huh. How about Dolores Cannon? What do you think? Coming back?
Dolores Cannon, I believe, moved up.
Huh?
I believe Dolores Cannon moved up.
Okay.
She doesn't have to come back here if she doesn't choose to.
Talk about her just a minute, since we have a minute here left. Talk about Dolores Cannon and about who she
The only
was.
thing I could tell you is I have felt her energy and I have watched a few things.
Thanks.
I'm always guided about what to read, what to watch, what to tune into.
Okay.
I'm familiar with some of Dolores Cannon's philosophies from having watched some videos and read some clips,
Okay.
but she's not someone I'm well read on.
Okay.
I've read the raw material, and the books they give me is because of the number of people that I work with
Okay.
and how I work with them. Because I will refer one person to say a book of The Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks,
Okay.
but somebody else may be at a different position, and so the book I recommend to them is A Course in Miracles.
Oh, okay. How about the Law
So
of
it
One?
depends on where the person is in their path as to what I would recommend for them to read, to use in meditation, or to use in healing modalities. Because there are people that are going to use certain healing modalities and they're going to tell you, I didn't get anything out of that.
Sure.
No, because they're not ready for it, and so they're not going to get anything out of it.
Okay. Okay. David Wilcock was talking about the Law of One. Well, could you know?
Yes, that's the raw.
Oh, that's the
material.
raw. How important is that to read, to delve into the Law of One? David Wilcox and Corey Good talked about it a lot. How important?
I believe that it is very good to be well versed in reading the different things that have been channeled, that have been brought through, and I wholly encourage people to open up and read. We're all guided. It will come into your vision. It will be, like somebody will be attracted to this author, but not that one.
Okay.
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 And so, you read certain people and that helps you in your journey.
Right. Oh, so homework is important then.
It's very important. If you don't do it, you kind of stifle yourself with where you are in your growth.
Okay. Let me do this because you have given us some direction. You mentioned Hicks, Abraham, and the longer. So to contact you and get more information, give us that information again because we only have about 2 minutes left. Give us the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
My email address is heavencallingearth@gmail.com.
Okay.
My website is heavencallingearth.com.
Right.
My phone number is 914-620-5776. You can find me on Facebook under Heaven Calling Earth, or look for me under my name, Pam Jenkins.
Okay. But we do need help because the dark forces are attacking
Daily?
Daily, minute by minute. So thank you very much for being with us. Really appreciate it. Maybe we'll do this again. So
Thank you for having me, Russ.
it's my pleasure. Thanks for helping us.
Thank you.
I'll mention one more website is www.nohoax.net. There's a lot of information you can download and look at Dolores Cannon and George Green and other people. Thanks for listening once again to lightsinthenight.org. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on Lights in the Night. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay curious. Until next time, good night.